Both of you turn your cameras on. Abu Bakr, um, please tell me which chapter is right now going on in your school. Which chapter was going on, and do you have any updates on your upcoming exams? Have you shared your syllabus if you have got it?
Sir, for me, right now, the chemistry and physics teacher, uh, she's, she's been absent for 1 week. And then
Hold on, hold on. Repeat again. Repeat again. Your voice is not coming clearly.
the physics and chemistry teacher, sir, that is one teacher. She's been not coming to school for 1 week. And then the biology, it is only 2 periods the whole week.
Okay, how is it going to be covered then? Like, what about the exam? Do you have any update on your periodic exam?
Yes, sir.
When is it? Have you shared it to the counselor? Let me check that.
Yes.
No, I haven't got anything. Yeah, have you got any update when the exam is going to start?
Sir, I sent to the counselor.
You have sent it to the counselor.
Yes.
You have, but I haven't got anything from her. Hold on, hold on. Can you tell me right now? Right now, tell me on which date you are having your exam, because I haven't got anything. Where is Farhan? He also hasn't joined yet. Priyanka, you understood everything which we discussed now from that chapter, combustion and flame? Huh? If suppose you
Yes,
have any
sir.
questions, you can ask here as well. Okay?
Assalamualaikum, sir.
Yeah, Walaikum Salam. Okay. Yeah, Abu Bakr, tell
Sir,
me.
sir, the question.
Yeah, the portion and the exam date as well.
Sir, so the portion is for physics,
Hmm?
it is sound and sound.
Okay.
Then it is force and pressure.
Force and pressure. And for and
Chemistry, it is combustion and flame.
combustion and flame.
And the second chapter, coal and petroleum.
Coal and petroleum. Okay. And when is the exam?
Yes, sir, for bio also.
For bio, tell me.
For bio, crop production and management.
Crop production and management. Okay. And the exam date?
Yes, sir, also microorganisms.
Microorganisms also. Okay. Okay. Microorganisms also. And the exam date?
Sir,
Yeah, about that.
sir,
Repeat again.
sir, I'll check and let you know.
Okay. Okay. Let me know quickly. Yeah, Aman, you also give me the update. Quickly give me the update. Which chapters have been taught? What is the exam syllabus?
Sir, exam syllabus, sir, I have got, sir. Only one chapter is coming, sir.
And that is?
Microorganism, friend and foe. And sir, 2 chapters have been covered in my school. Microorganism, friend and foe. And sir, one was going on, force and pressure.
Okay, force and pressure. It's going on. Okay.
It was going on, sir.
It
Now we
was
have our
going.
holidays, sir.
Okay, okay. It was going on. And microorganisms that have been finished, and you are having this in your upcoming exam.
Yes, sir, only one chapter, sir.
Coming in exam. And when is the exam?
Sir, it will, sir, I have not got the exact date, but it will be probably in the first week of July. First week of July.
July. Okay,
Yes,
first
sir.
week of July. Okay. Okay, so in the batch crop production, we have finished that. Then force and pressure, we have completed that. We were doing the chapter coal and petroleum. Okay. Abu Bakr, you got the exam date? Mm-hmm. Let me check that on Farhan also.
Sir, on 19, 25.
19th of June.
Yeah.
Okay, 19th of June. Okay, thanks for letting me know. 19th of June, you are having this. Okay, just give me one more minute. Let me check on Farhan as well. And then we'll be continuing. Okay, guys, today what we're going to do now, his exam is actually over, coolant petroleum. Okay, today what we're going to do, we are actually going to pick up a different chapter, that is microorganisms, friends and foe. Okay, Priyanka, you're having your exam on 29th of May, right? Okay, right, Priyanka? See, so from this chapter right now, we are leaving this topic, that is petroleum. Although some of the things we already have learned, right? Later on, we are going to pick up this chapter once again. Then in that classes, when I will pick up this chapter later on, the remaining topics will be finished. Okay, now in only one class, like this chapter needs only one more class. So there will be completing it. Right now, we are going to start a new chapter, that is microorganism, friends and foe. All right. Abu Bakr, you are having this chapter. Aman, you are having this
Yes,
chapter. And
sir.
Priyanka, you are also having this chapter. So it is better to start with this right now.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Give me 1 second. Let me just quickly clean up this. And Aman, like I have noticed, sometimes you leave the class in the middle. Aman, why
Sir,
do you do so?
sir, sometimes, sir, it's probably because I have to go to sleep. Sir, sometimes, sir, it is, sir, automatic because, sir, of
Mhm.
the, sir, laptop, sir, it's been something, some
Is
old.
sleep more
I'm
important, Aman?
going to
Mhm.
buy a new one.
Is sleep more important than class? Mhm.
Sir, but sir, like in Dubai, sir, this is designed for the Dubai students. No, there, sir,
Mhm.
it is 2 hours earlier, sir. But in India, sir, I also have school at that time, and sometimes I have to go to football training at early 6 or
Okay,
5
okay.
in the morning.
Okay, I get it, get it. Okay. Let's start the class.
Sir, so many things that get me confused, and it's
Mhm.
very difficult for me to handle all.
Okay, okay, no worries. Okay, let's start the chapter.
But sir,
So
I
the
recover it when I study, sir. It's not like that. I do not recover it.
That's good.
I
That's
can.
good about you. Okay. See, the chapter name is Microorganism, Friends and Foe. So in the chapter, we are going to be learning about like what is microorganisms, what are the different groups of microorganisms. We are going to learn about bacteria, about the viruses, protozoans, some of fungus, algae, different type of microorganisms are there. The one that you see right here are all these different types of microorganisms when viewed under a microscope. You can see microorganisms only under a microscope because they are very, very tiny. They are tiny living organisms. Our bare eyes, our naked eyes cannot see it. We have to take the help of the instruments called as microscopes, without which we cannot see them. Getting it now? So under the microscope, this is
Sir, we
how they look
also
like.
need to collect it on some kind of lens.
Yeah, we have to actually get a sample of it on a lens, and it is viewed under the eyepiece. Okay, no? So that is basically microorganism. The microorganisms are very small organisms that can be viewed only under the microscope. You cannot view it with your naked eyes. Okay, with unaided eyes we cannot see. Okay. Further, these microorganisms are present everywhere. It is present in the soil, in the water, and in the air around us. Some of them are very, very small. Some of them are found to be living alone. Some of them are found to be living in groups. Right? Getting it now? So they are very extreme. These extremely small organisms are basically microorganisms. Micro basically means something that is extremely small. Right? So
Yes, sir.
hence we come to the definition that the those organisms which are too small to be seen without a microscope are called as microorganisms. Right? That is the
Yes,
thing.
sir.
Okay. Although we cannot see the microorganisms around us, but we became aware of their presence around us now, right? Via their different actions, like they
Sir, they
spoil
are
our food,
present
they
everywhere.
cause disease. Yeah, they're present everywhere, right? Some of them are harmful to us, while some of them are beneficial to us now. Certain type of microorganisms like
And sir,
bacteria
some
and
do nothing.
fungus, some do, some no, some won't cause harm to us, we mean to say, okay,
Like
while
sir,
some of them
some
will cause
are
harm.
microorganisms are
Mhm.
like that, like won't benefit us or won't do any harm to us. They are built for something else.
Mhm. Getting it? So some of them
Sir,
will be
like some
responsible.
microorganisms. Sir, have you seen some kind of organism that goes into the dead body of insects and plants and sir can control it from their brain?
Okay, yeah,
Sir,
there
it
are
is
certain.
some kind of organisms, but sir, the scientists have researched on it. But sir, the like it is really less on planet Earth, and so it is really rare to find it. Sir, one in a billion moment.
You
Sir,
must
if you
have
find it,
watched it in some
then
documentaries. There are some microorganisms that are known to control the nervous system of some other animals, and then they may control it to do some task. Getting it?
yes,
So they are such kind of microorganisms
sir,
indeed.
but it isn't dangerous if it
Yeah,
controls our body, sir. Then
no, the nature does not have such kind of microorganisms, although there are some rare cases, right? Very, very rare cases, but it cannot have the
sir,
complete
parasite.
control. Yeah, getting it. But it cannot have the complete control on that
Sir,
organism.
like in movies.
Yeah, like that is basically fictional thing. Okay, that is things away from the real life. Okay, so getting back to the topic here. So microorganisms like bacteria, like fungus can make our food go back, can spoil the food, right? And so many microorganisms are known to cause disease in humans as well as in plants and the animals also, right? You might have heard about the disease like common cold. Everyone once in a while suffers from common cold, right? Then there are diseases like malaria. There are different kind of skin infections. We have like typhoid, tetanus, polio, chickenpox, smallpox, AIDS. All of these different diseases are caused by the action of microorganisms. Getting it, Priyanka, Aman, and Abu Bakr?
Yes,
But that's not all. Like some of them are useful to us also, right? Some of the microorganisms are helpful in preparation of curd, in preparation of cheese. Some of them are
the
helpful.
lactobacillus.
Exactly. Lactobacillus
Sir,
helps
I'll be
in
coming
preparation
in
of
just a
curd.
minute, sir.
Okay, getting it. So some of them are beneficial to us. Some of them are useful in the preparation of medicines also. Prinka, have you heard about antibiotics? Huh? You guys must have heard about antibiotics,
Yes.
vaccine, right now. So in order to prepare these medicines, microorganisms are actually used. Getting it? Also, microorganisms help in keeping the environment clean also. How do they do so? So they will be decomposing the organic waste of dead plants and animals into simple substances and hence helps in cleaning the environment. Okay. Further, all these different microorganisms that we're going to learn about, we have classified them into different major groups, which we're going to learn
Yes, sir.
about in a
Sir,
while.
one is sir
Also,
fungi.
hold on, we will get there as well in a proper sequence. Okay, now. Also, it is important to acknowledge this person. It is worth mentioning this person, that is Anton von Leeuwenhoek. Let me zoom it out so that you can see and read the name. So that is Anton von Leeuwenhoek. This person was the this person discovered the bacteria for the very first time. Basically, he discovered the microorganisms under a microscope for the very first time. Getting it? And he did extensive research on them. Okay, no? He studied about them. He published articles on them. So he discovered bacteria particularly, right? So all around the world, like universally, he has been called as the father of microbiology. We call them as the father of microbiology, right? Now, if someone has done a very credible work, a very well-known research in a field, so we call them as father of geography, father of history, right? Like that, you have father of microbiology. Now the question is like, what is microbiology? So in microbiology, basically we study about
Sir, the study
microorganisms.
of microorganisms.
Exactly. So that is microbiology. So he has been called as the father of microbiology. Further, later on, we'll be learning about the different groups of microorganisms, but it is worth mentioning that the different type of living organisms here on Earth, they have got different type of cells. Particularly, there are two type of cells. One is eukaryotic cell and another is prokaryotic cell, right? We all know that we are made up of cells now, right? Whether it is a bacteria, whether it is a giant animal like an elephant or a blue whale or any other organisms, or whether it be a plant, all of them are made up of living cells, right, Priyanka? Getting it, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Now, these cells are actually of two types. The ancient organisms that were living on Earth about 3.5 billion years ago, so they had the prokaryotic type of cells. Even today, some of the organisms, like the bacteria, have the eukaryotic type of cells. Okay, we know that bacteria have eukaryotic type. Sorry, I mean to say prokaryotic. My bad. Prokaryotic. So bacteria have prokaryotic type of cell, and the organisms that were living on Earth about 3.5 billion years ago, they also had a prokaryotic type of cell. But now the question is like, what does it mean? What exactly is so when you take a look at the prokaryotic cell, so when you look at the structure of the cell, no, you know that inside the cell, nucleus is found. Everyone knows this, right? Nucleus is like the tiny brain of the cell, no, right, Priyanka, Aman,
Yes, sir.
yes, Abu, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
when you take a look at the nucleus of the prokaryotic cell, now it is not well developed. It is actually a false nucleus. What is it? It is a false nucleus, not
False nucleus.
well developed. False nucleus. It was not completely developed. Getting it? Also, the structure is not like well defined. But when the eukaryotic cell is looked upon, so you can take a look at like how well defined it is, having a very proper spherical shape, circular shape like this. So
Yes.
nucleus of the eukaryotic cell is well developed, or basically you can understand the eukaryotics are basically the advanced cells, right? Advanced cells, while the prokaryotics are basically the ancient cells, or basically you can say less developed. In the simple manner you can understand. So organisms, yes, Priyanka?
Your voice is yes, sir.
Priyanka, there must be some network issue from your side. My voice is clear to you guys?
Yes.
Okay. How do we get this fixed, Priyanka? Is my voice again breaking to you? Hello, can you hear me?
Not now.
Okay, you can keep your camera off, Priyanka. Okay, now that might be causing some interruption in your network. Okay, keep it off. Okay, so
So
prokaryotes.
like when all the people turn their camera on, sir, it's
No,
like
no,
for
not
the
in
sir.
that case.
Oi.
No, not
Yes.
in that case. Okay, it's like for individuals. Okay. So an organism that contains a clearly well-defined nucleus, a well-developed cell, is called as a eukaryotic organism, right? While the one that does not have a well-defined nucleus, so they are called as prokaryotic organism. Simple, no? Clear? So we humans are prokaryotic or eukaryotic? We humans are having eukaryotes, no, exactly, because we have a modern cell, right? Further, the different type of microorganisms have been categorized into 5 groups, respectively: virus, bacteria, fungi, algae, and protozoans. So the structure of the chapter is such that we are going to learn about the use of these different microorganisms, where they are used to manufacture medicines. In the field of agriculture, they are used to make manures, right? And in industry, they have so many uses, like in the also in the pharmaceutical industry, basically they are used in industries, they are used in our day-to-day life. Different type of products, edible substances are made by the help of the microorganisms. We'll be learning about that. Then microorganisms are known to cause various kind of diseases, not only in animals and humans, but also in the plants. Then we'll be learning later on about the food preservation methods. How can we prevent the food from being spoiled by the action of different microorganisms? So there are different methods to it, which we'll be learning about. Let's start with the very first group of microorganisms, that is the bacteria. Okay, so bacteria are the smallest microorganisms. They are sorry, not the smallest. I mean to say they are very, very small. Okay, now viruses are actually the smallest. So bacteria are very small and they are made up of just one cell, right? They are basically unicellular in nature, made up of just one cell, right? So they are having a single cell, Second, they are having a prokaryotic cell. Right now, like they do not have a well organized nucleus and other structures. Getting it now? Single cell, single cell, that is simply same as being called as unicellular. Further, they are prokaryotic, which means that they don't have well defined nucleus in them. Getting it? They don't have a well defined nucleus in them. So that is the thing about them. While some of them are useful to us, but many of them are harmful for us as well. Getting it? Some of the bacteria, like for example, rhizobium, helps in fixing the atmospheric nitrogen into the soil. You have examples like cyanobacteria helps in converting the atmospheric nitrogen into the compounds like ammonia and nitrates, which the plants can absorb. So it is helping in increasing the fertility of the soil. Then you have examples of bacteria like lactobacillus, right? So it helps in conversion of milk into curd. Getting it? So there are certain groups of microorganisms, bacteria that are helpful, whilst many of them will be known to cause different kind of disease. Now, based on the shape of the bacteria, they can be categorized into four different shapes, four different types, basically. That is Bacillus, Vibrio, Cocci, and Spirilla. Also, okay now? That is the thing. Now, one interesting feature about the bacteria are that bacteria can be usually now like they are usually found to be living in groups. As you can see here, like they are found to be living in a colony, in a form of colony. Getting what I'm trying to say? They are usually found to be living in colony. Also, bacteria can feed, they can move, they can do respiration, as well as they can do reproduction on their own. What I'm saying that they can feed the food on their own. Okay. Further, they can move, feed, move. They can do respiration, they can respire, as well as they can reproduce all on their own. Right now, on their own, they can do all these tasks. Right. So now let us take a look at the different types of bacteria based on their shape. In the following animation, by the way, you can take like how many bacteria are present over here, and this is just a tiny drop of water. Even more amount of bacteria can be found in there. And here is a really zoomed view of bacteria. In the second animation, you can see. Let's discuss about the different types of bacteria. Now, some of the bacteria have got a comma shape structure. Getting it, Priyanka? Getting it, Abubakar and Aman?
Yes.
The comma shaped bacteria, sorry. Sorry. So the comma shaped bacteria are basically called as vibrio. What do we call them? They're called as vibrio. Okay. And we have the example of a comma shaped bacteria that is Vibrio cholerae. It's the Vibrio cholera, I mean to say. Cholerae, sorry. Vibrio cholerae or cholera, same thing basically. So having a comma shape. Then we have a spherical shaped bacteria that is called as cocci. The group of bacteria having a spherical shape, we collectively call them as cocci. Some examples are Streptococcus and Staphylococcus. These are the examples of the spherical shaped bacteria. Yes, Priyanka? Okay, you're saying something? True. Okay. Okay, I will tell them that your network is poor. Let me message them. Okay, I have texted. See, then we have the rod-shaped bacteria. Okay, now then we have the rod-shaped bacteria. Getting it? Sorry. So an example is the Salmonella and E. coli. These are the examples of bacteria that are having a rod-shaped structure, like kind of basically like this. Okay. Then these bacteria are having a spiral shape like this. So they are called as spirilla. Rod-shaped bacteria is called as bacilli or bacillus, while the spiral-shaped bacteria are spirilla. The examples are Borrelia or Treponema. Treponema and Borrelia are some examples. Okay, now getting it? So that is the thing. Actually, I need to forward that message to the academic team. Give me 1 minute. Okay. So as I said moments ago, that some of the bacteria are useful while some of them are harmful to us. So for example, lactobacillus is used in preparation of curd and in yogurt. Rhizobium bacteria helps in nitrogen fixation in the plants. Then bacteria like streptomyces are used in making antibiotics like streptomycin. Have you guys heard about antibiotics? Yeah. We usually take
Yes, sir.
we suffer
Yes,
from
sir. We
bacterial
all take it,
infection.
sir.
Yeah, we all take it once in a while when we fall ill,
Sir, so that
particularly.
we don't, sir, get the disease. Sir, we take it, sir, before we get the disease so that we don't get the disease. But,
No,
sir, some people get it when they have the disease.
no, that is not correct. Actually, vaccine is usually taken with before we get the viral infection. Vaccines are usually administered to the body before the people before the people get infected with the virus. Actually, antibiotic is usually taken after contracting the disease, after getting the disease. Getting it? No? There's a difference between that. So some examples are like erythromycin, streptomycin. These are the common antibiotics, and in order to make them, bacteria are useful. Okay. Some of the bacteria even help in digestion. They are found in our gut and supports our digestion. Later on, in a separate section, we'll be learning about the different uses of bacteria and how they are harmful to us. Right now, we are only having a general introduction to the different groups of microorganisms, like what are their characteristics, how do they look, what are their functions, etc. Okay, just to give me 1 more minute. An important point was missed in the bacteria. That is, you guys generally know that plant cells and the animal cell, will they be same or will they be different from one another? What do you guys think?
So can I
They're
repeat this?
different.
Plant cell and the animal cell, are they different or same?
Sir,
They are different, exactly. No, good. See how they are different. Let us understand the basic difference between them. Suppose right over here, this is a plant cell. On the other hand, you are having a animal cell. Let's suppose, let's say this is the nucleus and this right here is the nucleus. That's the plant cell. Plant cell. And this one here is the animal cell. And right over here, suppose we are having a bacterial cell. Okay, now suppose this is a bacterial cell. This right here is the nucleus of the bacterial cell, which is not well defined. It is not having a clear structure. Now,
Sir.
important.
Sir, bacteria, sir, plant cell,
Speak a bit louder.
sir, is bacterial cell, a plant cell, or an
Animal cell. Abubakar, could you please come closer to the mic and then speak?
Sir, is a bacterial cell a plant cell or an animal cell?
Okay, that will be considered as an animal cell. Okay, no? If you were to consider it from that point of view, then it will be counted as an animal cell. Okay. Now, when you look at the outermost boundary, like just like our house has a fence around it now, so cells also have got a boundary around it. So the outermost boundary of a plant cell is called as cell wall, which is tough, which is basically rigid. And inside this, there is another layer,
Sir,
uh-huh.
what about human cell?
Yeah, we are going to learn about that one as well. Human cell also, obviously, that is also animal cell. So this is called as cell
Okay.
membrane. Cell membrane. I want you guys to just look at the difference in the structures, how they are different. Basically, you have to look at cell wall here. Cell wall is found in the plant cell, and after the cell wall, we have a cell membrane inside it. Basically, these are layers of the boundary, layers of bonding. So there are two layers of boundary. Outermost is cell wall, then cell membrane. But in the animal cell, there is just one layer of boundary that we call as cell membrane. That we call as cell membrane. Getting it? But when you take a look at the bacterial cell, so they also are having a cell wall. They are also having a cell wall around it. Getting it? Particularly, once again, take a look at this diagram over here. In this, you will find that they actually have a cell wall. See, cell wall is mentioned over here, right? So bacterial cells are having cell wall around them. Getting it now? This is the nucleus over here. This region over here is the nucleus. An outermost boundary of the bacterial cell is actually cell wall. And after the cell wall, they have another layer that is simply being called as the cell membrane. You guys are getting the point I'm trying to make here? That as the plant cells have the cell wall, so bacterial cells also have the cell wall, but the animal cells do not have cell wall in them. Getting it, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that is another interesting feature about the bacteria, that they have a cell wall. They have a cell wall. That is the important thing about them. No other microorganisms have the cell wall, but only bacteria have cell wall. And this actually allows them to survive in extreme conditions. You guys know that plants are able to survive in extreme conditions now, right? Like they survive the winter, they survive the harsh climatic conditions like extreme amount of rainfall, low rainfall conditions, high temperature, low temperature, etc., right? They survive it all. But the animal cells, they, if they were left exposed in the sun or in the harsh winters or exposed to so much of rainwater, so we will obviously be sick or we will die due to exposure of harsh climatic conditions, harsh environment. But the plant cells, like plants withstand all these conditions now. Why? Because they have a cell wall. Cell walls makes them tough, provides rigidity to them, provides it from external harsh environment. So similarly, cell walls are found in the bacteria. It also offers them protection against the harsh environments. Getting the point, Priyanka, Abu Bakr, and Aman?
Yes, sir.
So hence, they have, sorry, cell walls. One more important point about the bacteria, some of them can be found in extreme environments. Extreme environments. Getting it? Like some of them can be found in the stream water, like hot stream water. They can be found. Some bacteria are found in very depth, in the depth of the ocean. Bacteria can be found. Getting it? So that is the thing. So they can found throughout the depth of the ocean, even in the deepest part of the ocean, like even in the Mariana Trench. You all know about the Mariana Trench, no? The deepest trench, right? So even there, scientists have found some bacterias. Getting it now? But the bacterias can be found in the frozen lake, also in the frozen ice, right? So there also some bacterias have found to be living actually. So that is an important thing about the
But there
bacteria.
could be anything in the Mariana Trench, sir. Literally anything.
Literally anything, not anything, but there are certain
And
type
there
of
could be
micro.
bacteria who could, sir, so like
Mhm. Hmm.
in so big groups that could, sir, move a mountain from one place to another, sir. Could be anything, sir. We don't know,
No,
sir, because,
actually,
sir, it has not even been discovered.
no, no, actually, that is quite impractical to say that there could be group of microorganisms that can move a mountain, given the size and the mass of the mountain, given the size and the capability of the microorganisms. It will be unscientific to say such thing. Getting it?
Um,
Okay, we have to consider everything. No? Okay, so talking about the fungi now, right? So fungi are basically saprophytic or parasitic organism. This is very important to note. They are saprophytic, meaning that they feed upon dead and decaying organic matter, right? Further, they are also parasitic in nature, like they can obtain nutrition from the host organism, right? So that is the mode of nutrition about the fungi. Getting it? Parasitic, everyone understands, no? A type of mode organism that depends on other organisms to obtain nutrition from it, right? Well, saprophytic mode of nutrition is such in which organisms derive their food from the dead and decaying organisms. Okay. Also, one important thing about them is that
Uh,
the
sir,
fungi
there is
are,
one plant, sir. I don't remember its name, sir. Pitcher plant. Pitcher
yeah, it is
plant, sir.
pitcher
Yes.
plant. Hmm.
Sir, that is the example of a saprophyte.
Yeah, saprophytes, particularly insectivorous. You will count this as insectivorous plant, not of saprophytic, because if it was saprophytic, it would be feeding upon the dead and decaying organisms. Okay, no? It relies on the insects particularly to obtain nutrition because it grows in marshy soil which lacks nitrogen. Okay, no? That's a different thing though. So talking about fungi further, there are large group of organisms which do not have chlorophyll. They lack chlorophyll, so thereby they cannot perform photosynthesis. Okay. Now some of the common examples are the yeast, right now. Right over here, like this is a yeast. Getting it? This is a yeast. Then some other examples are rhizopus, right, which is commonly called as bread mold. You might have observed some green or bluish patches developing on the bread if you were to leave it in the open for a week or if it has expired, right, Abu Bakr? Hmm. Then we have examples like aspergillus, right? Now, interesting thing about them is that yeast, it's a unicellular unicellular fungi, right? Unicellular fungi. While in this image, you can see you have the examples like mushroom, toothed fungus, puffball, huh? Or this is the example of Puccinia, sorry, Puccinia triticina, Puccinia triticina, which is also a fungus. So you can clearly view it with your eyes, right? Now they are bigger in size. They are actually multicellular, made up of multiple cells. But some of them are made up of just one cell, like the yeast. It's unicellular. So fungi can be both multicellular and unicellular. Okay, na? Although most of them are multicellular and not microscopic. Like if you have to look at mushroom or you have to look at the wheat rust, like this causes a disease also. This Puccinia triticina in the wheat is causes a disease called as wheat rust. So you can clearly see it with your bare eyes. You don't have to take help of a microscope. So some of them are multicellular and not, like most of them are not microscopic. Only some of them have to be viewed under a microscope. That is yeast. Getting all this about the fungus? Yeah. Yes or no? Okay.
Yes.
So that is the thing. Also, some of the fungus looks like plant, but they cannot make their own food. Okay, no? Like the plant do. Okay. Also, fungus, in order to grow, they need moist conditions. Right now, fungi, they need moist condition to grow. Right, moist condition is required by them to grow. Okay. Also, some of the fungi are parasitic in nature. Also, as I told you, right. Particularly this fungi over here, this fungi is actually living on a host organism. Is living on the body of the wheat, right? Wheat plant, and from there it is obtaining nutrition. So, falling is an example of a parasitic fungus. Parasitic fungus. Because you know that fungus can be both saprophytic as well as parasitic. So Puccinia triticina is an example of parasitic fungus. Okay, that's the thing. Also, this right over here is basically bread mold. Okay. Although this is not like the bread mold, that's not how the bread mold looks in its actual size. Like here we're having a magnified view of the bread mold in order to show its structure, but it basically looks like patches on the bread. Okay, no? So mold is basically a fur-like growth of very small fungus that can occur usually on the bread or some other organic matter. Right? It can also grow on oranges. Right? While fungi like yeast, which we have discussed, they are very, very small and can be viewed only clearly, can be seen clearly only with the help of a microscope. Sorry. Okay. Now, some of the fungus would be responsible for causing diseases also. While some of them are good, while some of them are edible, right now fungi like mushroom. Lots of species of mushrooms are edible. Getting it now? And we know that mushrooms are rich in different nutrients. Mushrooms contain nutrients in them, right? So mushrooms contain like vitamin B2 is present in them, vitamin B5 is present in them, vitamin D is present in mushrooms. So hence they are good for our health. But lots of them will be responsible for causing diseases also. Okay, na? Take a look at the disease over here, like it is known to cause disease called as ringworm or athlete's foot. Okay, na? They are known to cause some human disease called as ringworm and athlete's foot. So they have both the sides. They are friend to us while they are foe to us. They cause us good, but at the same time, some of them causes damage to us as well. Now, typically when we take a look at the structure of fungi, so it is having two main structures. It is having two main structures. One is the hyphae, another is the spores. Right now, another this is the spores. Now, hyphae here is basically the thread-like structure. This filament-like structure that you see here, it is called as hyphae. Okay. So they have thread-like filaments present over here. Next is the spores. That is the another important thing find over here. These tiny structures that you see inside this big shaped structure called as sporangium is basically spores. So spores are found inside this bulb-like structure called as sporangium. Getting it, Priyanka, Abubakar, and Aman?
Yes, sir.
No, spore basically helps in reproduction. What it does helps in reproduction. That basically means that if the sporangium is fully, like the fungus is fully grown, if it bursts open, like there will be a small amount of burst from which lots of spores will be released into the air. This dust that you are seeing over here, Naman, it basically contains thousands and thousands of spores in it. So spores are very, very small. Okay. So wherever this spore will land, suppose a spore lands on a piece of bread, right? It lands on a piece of bread. So thereby it will start to multiply there. It will obtain nutrition from it. It will basically grow. Getting it now? But now the question is that once the spore lands on it, how does it grow? How does it obtain nutrition? So it actually obtains nutrition via the help of this thread-like structure called as hyphae. Getting it, everyone? Called as hyphae. So let us understand like how does this hyphae actually work? So we will go back to the previous image. Look at this. The thread-like structure you guys can see here. This thread-like structure.
Yes, sir.
That is basically hyphae. Hyphae. Now hyphae is penetrating into the substance, right? It is going into the substance. And as it penetrates into the edible substance, it will release some digestive enzymes. What it does, hyphae releases, I think you guys are familiar with this term that is digestive enzymes, right? Right? They basically help in
No,
breaking
sir, we
down.
have learned about it,
We have no good.
sir, in seventh.
Yeah, we have learned about it in the 7th grade. So the digestive enzymes secreted by the hypha will basically help in breaking down the complex organic substances present in the bread. They'll be converted into simpler organic substances into a form of solution that the fungi can absorb and use it for growing and multiplying further. Getting it? Getting it, Priyanka and Abu Bakr? Okay, now? Priyanka, read the statement. Read the given paragraph from here. The main components of fungi are as follows. Read from here. I have texted them. No, keep it off. I will inform them later on. Keep it off. Meanwhile, you read this. Otherwise, like there will be issue with the audio. Yes, go on. Okay, Abu Bakr, read this fast.
Fungi like mushroom, uh, mild, mildew, and yeast are eukaryotic, means that they have got low nucleus.
Yeah, by the way, this point was missed to be discussed. They are eukaryotic in nature. Okay, now bacteria are prokaryotic, while fungi like mushroom, mold, mildew, and yeast, all of them are eukaryotic. They have a true nucleus. Continue further.
Uh, the main components of fungi are uh, hy- hyphae. They are thread-like filaments which penetrate through substances, secrete enzymes to break down nutrients into smaller molecules and absorb.
Hold on. So what the hyphae is going to do, it will penetrate into the substrate. Substrate here basically means to, basically in layman term, basically we can say it's food. It will penetrate into its food and will secrete enzyme to break down the complex nutrients present in the food into smaller molecules which it can absorb. Okay, understood this now? Priyanka got it now? Okay,
Yes, sir.
continue further.
Spores are a unit of sexual and asexual reproduction. They can adapt for dispersal and survival for extended periods of time in unfavorable conditions.
Okay, so the basic thing about the spores is that they help in reproduction, right? Once they land on a food item, then they will basically start to grow into a new fungi, right? Also, even if they don't get the favorable conditions, so they can survive for a long period of time. They are adapted to survive for a long period of time. Without food, without moisture, it can survive for a long period of time. But once it gets the favorable condition like a food, a moist condition, then it will start to grow. Okay. Now, fungi has a wide range of uses. They are used in various areas, like they are used in the preparation of antibiotics, medicines like penicillin, streptomycin, particularly in production of these medicines, fungi are used. Mushroom, right? It's a highly proteinaceous food, right now. Also, mushroom contains good amount of vitamin D in it, vitamin D, vitamin B5. So one should actually consume the mushroom. It is a good source of nutrients. In the bakery, use is used in all the products and also in the food and beverages industry. Like in the alcohol industry, also yeast is used. Getting it, Priyanka and Abu Bakr? Later on, we'll be learning about them
Yes,
in
sir.
detail. Okay, we'll be learning about fermentation and all that. So right now, I'm skipping that. Also, fungi are known to cause harm to us also. So they are known to cause disease like ringworm and athlete's foot right? So other than this, there are some other fungal infections also which we can suffer from, right? So generally, if a person happens to be suffering from the fungal infection, so on the different parts of the body, particularly on their skin, there can be irritation. The skin can become scaly, like the layers of the skin can start to peel off layer by layer. There would be lots of itching, swelling, redness,
But
and
is it
even blisters. Uh-huh.
harmful?
Obviously, it
Is
is
it harmful?
harmful. Yeah, it is harmful, right? If it is not cured on time, we don't apply the proper ointment on it. So due to continuous irritation and itching, right? It can lead to wound also if it is not controlled properly. But with proper hygiene and medication, obviously, it can be cured in the given time. Okay. Now,
Okay.
ringworm and athlete foods are basically kind of same. Getting it? They are kind of same. Why so? Because what happens now? If the same infection, if it were to happen in the feet, then it is called as athlete's foot. Okay, and this is how it will look like. Now, why we're calling this as athlete's foot? Athlete, you guys understand, right? Right. So athletes usually would be wearing the shoes now. They would be wearing it for long duration during the tournament. Particularly the cyclist, they have to wear the shoes for a very long period of time, for many hours. So as they would be cycling, so thereby their feet will be sweating. They'll be sweating in their feet. Our feet also sweats a little bit, right? Getting it now? Our skin in the feet will be sweating basically. So
Yes, sir.
also the temperature of the body also increases when we do some physical workout. So due to humid conditions in the shoe, like in the shoe in which like the feet is, so there will be humid condition, and that will promote the growth of fungus in this. So fungus will cause infection in it. It will kind of look like this, and hence called as athlete's foot. Right now, so heat and moisture helps these fungus to grow and helps them. Also, you might have seen that if there's a very fatty person, right, who has got tires in their stomach, getting it what I'm trying to say, their skin gets folded away like this, kind of someone like is having a stomach like this, getting what I'm trying to say? Yeah, a very fat person, suppose, getting it. So there could be folds in their skin, and in between that fold in the skin, the fungus can actually grow. Getting what I'm trying to say? Able to relate now, right?
Yes, sir.
So even there, the fungal growth can happen between the fold of the skin. Okay, because it needs moist and warm conditions. So that was all about the fungus. We have learned about bacteria and the fungus. Two major groups we have finished. Later on, we'll be learning about the good caused by them and the bad part about them. Now we have algae. Now algae, one thing clear about them is that they are plant-like organisms, right? Now, but you may say that, sir, they don't have leaves, they don't have stem, neither they have the roots. So how are they plant-like organisms? So the thing is that what is the basic criteria for an organism to be called as a plant? What is it? Yes, Priyanka. Yes, Abubakar.
So what?
How do you classify an organism as a plant? Quick.
When they have chlorophyll.
Chlorophyll. Right? When they have
Yes.
chlorophyll and they can photosynthesize, they are autotrophs, they can prepare
Yes,
their
sir.
own food. So algae are also the same, right? They contain chlorophyll and they can prepare their food via photosynthesis. Some of the examples are like Chlamydomonas, seaweed, diatoms. They have chlorophyll in them. Getting it now? Okay, so that is the thing. So they are plant-like organisms. We call them as plant-like organisms, and usually they are aquatic in nature. They are aquatic in nature. That is the important thing about them. Okay, no. While most of the algae are multicellular in nature. Okay, no. But some of them can be unicellular also, right? So we see that they can be both unicellular as well as multicellular in in nature. Sorry. Okay, so most of the algae are actually multicellular. So some unicellular algae are as follows. So unicellular algae are basically Chlamydomonas, the one that we have mentioned over here, Chlamydomonas, then diatoms. These are the two common examples of like here you can see Chlamydomonas. Okay, now they are unicellular algae. Got it, Abu Bakr? They are unicellular algae. While some of them are multicellular also. So Spirogyra is an example of multicellular algae. Is
Sir,
that much clear to
what is
everyone?
Pyrogyra?
Spirogyra, like it is an example of algae basically, right?
Okay,
Chlamydomonas
sir.
is an example, so Spirogyra is also as an example. Okay, I think in the chapter like last year we did learn about fragmentation. You guys remember? about asexual reproduction. Maybe that is in the eighth grade. I'm not entirely sure. But anyways, see, there's an interesting thing about the Spirogyra, which we'll be learning in upcoming classes when we do the chapter reproduction in animals, particularly also in the chapter reproduction in plants. We have actually learned about it, where I did told you about fragmentation. Remember, when a given organism splits into different parts and each part goes on to grow into an adult. So Spirogyra was such organism. Okay. Also, on different places you can find this algae growing like this. Okay. Right. Now, algae have so many uses. Right. You know that algae are being taken as food supplements also. Right now, some of the algae are particularly being grown in the small enclosures on the small artificial ponds, right? Like there's this example of a spirulina. Okay, this example of algae called as spirulina, which is being grown, and like we grow it in a small enclosure, then we convert this into the form of powder and into tablets, and it is taken as supplement. While some of them are used to make fertilizers and even in the animal feed. An interesting thing about the alga is that some of them are even being used to make fuel. Okay, no? So that's it for today's class. In the next class, we'll be covering a few more important topics. Okay. All right then. You guys